Yeah.
Huh? Isaac, I can't hear you when you talk behind the camera.
Yeah, I'm ready when you are.
Okay. What's the truth about astrology? Is there any reality to it? Can we use it to guide our lives? One of the ways the Torah refers to idolatry is worship of the stars and the signs of the zodiac. So even if it does work, are we allowed to use it? Is there any reality to it? Scientists say no, it's not a science, not at all. There's some major Jewish sources that say it's foolishness. But there are other major Jewish sources that say there is some reality to it. For instance, there's 1 month of the year we know things generally go favorable for the Jewish people. And yet there's another month of the year we're told don't do anything dangerous. It's not a favorable time for the Jewish people.
Continue from there. Do you want to tuck your payas back?
Not completely.
Okay. Favorable for the Jewish people?
How can I do that? I don't know where I am now.
You can pick it up.
That's not favorable. So do the stars have power? No, the stars have no power whatsoever. But when Hashem is ruling primarily with the judgment, the world and creation will reflect judgment. When Hashem is reigning mainly with favor, the position of the stars in the world will reflect that favor. So are we allowed to use astrology or not? We're allowed to be aware of the position of the stars and how that might affect our lives historically, but we're not allowed to consult the stars to see what we should do with our life. It would be foolish to consult the stars instead of the one who moves the stars. That's why astrology is called worship of the stars and the signs of the zodiac. Even if the stars would say something is definitely our fate, we can always turn, and Hashem's mercy will turn with us. So instead of turning to the stars, we turn to Hashem and the bus.
That's fine.
Huh?
That's fine.
Yeah.
You want to say that last line again? Instead of turning to the stars, we turn to Hashem.
So instead of turning to the stars, we turn to Hashem. Hashem rules our lives, not the position of the stars. I'd be amazed.
Was that your end? We have so much, we can just cut between multiple clips to
I
put
don't
it
think
together.
so.
It's fine. We can cut the between.
Okay,
the
we'll
ones
do
we
another
got.
one, then we'll come back to that. Okay,
I was going to ask you a question. It says in the Gemara that somebody's born under a red star, they have a bloodlust, so they want to kill, they can become a shochet. But doesn't that mean that there is a star and a mazel for us? We just choose where it goes. I can't control that I have a bloodlust.
Okay. As I said, let's start over again. What's with astrology? Does it really work? Can the stars predict our future? Scientists say no way. There's no science to it. It's not constant. And there's some major Jewish sources that agree and say it's foolishness. But there are other major Jewish sources that say someone born at this time of the year, certain things will happen to, and someone born at this time of the year, certain things will happen to him. We're told that certain month of the year is favorable for the Jewish people, and another month of the year is not favorable. So do the stars have power? No, the stars have no power, not whatsoever. Inanimate objects without free will. So is a Jew allowed to use astrology or not? We're allowed to know what times of the year certain things generally happen, and the stars will reflect that. When Hashem is reigning primarily with kindness, the stars and all of creation will reflect that kindness. When Hashem is reigning primarily with judgment, all of creation will reflect that judgment. So it would be foolish not to pay attention to it. But when it says a person born under a certain sign will have certain characteristics, that's only if he doesn't take a hold of his life and go where he wants to go. So are we allowed to use astrology or not? We're allowed to know what the stars say about going on in the world, but we're not allowed to look to the stars to guide our lives. It would be foolish to look at the stars instead of the one who creates and moves the stars. So even if the stars would say, your fate is certain to happen this way, a Jew can always turn, and his future will go where he turns. God's mercy will go with the Jew. God's mercy will turn with the Jew. Instead of looking at the stars, we look to Hashem.
Beautiful. A question. I have a friend. He's religious, but he used to do astrology. He looks up his horoscope, and he finds a lot of things in common with himself. And he wants to try and date other religious girls of the horoscope that he thinks would be matching with him. Is that okay?
No, we'll talk about that. Let's do this now. Okay? One of the things I like to do is put tefillin on people by the kotel. So a Russian came in, a middle-aged Russian man. I said, come put on tefillin. He had no idea what I was talking about. Come, I'll help you. He had no idea. I put the tefillin on his arm and I say Baruch. He said Shalak. I said, no, Baruch. He says Kalak. I said, no, Baruch. He ran away from me. I chased after him. I put the tefillin on his arm without a bracha. I gave him the Shema to read in Russian. He looked at it and he said, can I just sing Hava Nagila? I said, sure. So here's this middle-aged Russian guy, never had tefillin on before in his life, no bracha, and he's singing Hava Nagila, Hava Nagila. Now what do you think Hashem thought about his prayers? He loved it. Of course we're supposed to get the details right. But when you start to do a mitzvah, if you don't get the details just right, don't worry about it. God doesn't only look at our hands, he looks at our heart.
I think you should say it was beautiful. I think you should say it again, a little slower, and maybe a little longer Hava Nagila, or end it by singing Hava Nagila Hava.
No, I have to explain the thing.
No, you explain it, but then end it.
Again, maybe we'll do it.
Okay?
Yeah.